Alright, so the National Guard is right next to the library. And I don't know why there's 6 guys sitting on top of that crane. Strange, I just didn't want to look like I was recording too obviously. I'm gonna look for the Walmart. Okay, and I believe it's south down this road. There's supposed to be it's a military museum. Oh, and it's coming soon. I'm pretty sure there's got to be another one. I got the military one, and it didn't say military on Google Maps. Yeah, I got 2.5 miles down this road, though. Down the road called Lincoln. Okay, there seems to be a big city attitude for 10,000 people. I just saw a lady covered in tattoos up to her mouth. It is fairly developed, I guess. It's looking advanced in its size. Like, I mean, 2.5 miles to Walmart. And it looks like it's going through a lot of. I'm going to be going past a lot of buildings with little space in between the buildings. So it's pretty developed here. Outskirts of Twin Falls. Twin Falls is going to be even more developed. 40,000 people. I mean, it's not the metropolis of Boise, but still, it's streets got a busyness to it. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. They gotta have 2 lanes for a reason. Okay, intersection of 93 and 84. There's a museum special thing tomorrow, the 10th, 10 to 4. I think I'd like to check out. Alright, so there's a Jerome cheese off to my right. And then ahead is Derigold? Derigold. Automated dairy systems. They're really working with some milk cows around here. And I saw horses out to pasture. Man, they got some dangerous devices on the ends of these things. What? Who is that to murder? Who are they gonna murder with this? They must be attacking. This is how they attack armies that are defenseless. Look at that. And then they grind them up and spit them out in the rear. That's incredible. This one's rusted. Like it's been used and then returned. Weird. I've never seen anything like that. What is the deal with this equipment? And then there's a whole bunch. You must have to go through a lot. These are something else. Some kind of thresher thing. Collects stuff here. Stirs things up there. Crushes and collects. Moves. Here's a classic. Just kind of sitting in between the machines. Door won't even close. They have to tie it. Alright, so they look to have major factories all along this road on Lincoln, heading to Walmart, and it's between Walmart and the library, 2.5 mile stretch. Spears Manufacturing. And they gotta have a gate guard there, there's a car parked behind the gate. heard, I don't think I'm too familiar with it, Right Stuff's Foods. That's a major operation. So these types of companies are going to support 10,000 people to live pretty decent lives, I guess. They should be able to afford whatever they want, working with job opportunities like you see here. I'm pretty confident that this Walmart is relaxed on camping because you got these guys right here and this over here, and this guy sleeping in his truck, most likely sitting in the front seat right now, reading a book. Oh, and there's more. There's truckers hanging out. There's other places to camp on the other side. Yeah, okay. This is an option. 2.5 miles. Yeah, I can swing it. Make that drive, get away from the library at night. Safety. Safety from the cops, at least. Criminal element is unknown. Okay, although it puts me at a weird kind of ease to see the campers hanging out there unmolested by cops, there does seem to be a rather high amount. Maybe not an alarming amount, but there are people just relaxing in the parking lots, back of their trucks and their campers and their cars. It's not alarming. It's just something to make note of. If it did get an increased number, then it could be alarming. I'm not sure. It's just weird. Just weird. Okay, welcome to modern Woodman Park. What? Alright, so you can climb the tank and walk around it and stuff, I guess. It's right next to the Stuff Foods, Right Stuff. Okay, I'm taking a wild guess here that the statistics are off on Wikipedia for the ratio of Mexicans in Jerome, alright? I just walking down the street, it's just my own survey, walking down the street, looking in the cars, because the sun is facing them, pretty much. And yeah, I'm counting half the drivers as Mexican now. There's bias and on me identifying what Mexican is: Hispanic, Mexican, white, Mexican, white, Mexican, white. There is a higher number of Mexican, and it's not bad. It's just interesting. White. Yeah, it's just, I mean, to quickly, judge, what do you got to do? Pull out the tape measure and get the right lighting and, find out their lineage and all that. White. I'm just doing it off the cuff, all right? And it's interesting, judging by the people in that respect. I think there's a higher amount of Mexicans, but look at the structures of the buildings. Look at the environment a little closer too. See what how it's all looking. Is there a lot of graffiti? Not on this road. Anything looked really broken down? Not really. Not by my standards. Other people might have higher standards. The town doesn't look that bad. It's been growing really fast. So a lot of these buildings are new from the fast growth. From 7,000 to 10,000 in 10 years. And it said whites went up 5%, something like that. But I mean, with undocumented immigrants, I'd be a little interested to know. I believe that it's possible that there's undocumented immigrants here, but that's so what? Whatever. you gotta look at the crime statistics and all that to be concerned, right? Of course, I would never live here. I got my own bias. I will note too that the goat head, the pokeweed is picking up in number. All right, I am picking up a lot more around here on my tires too. It's getting to be as bad as Boise again. I still enjoy that question. Where's the tennis courts? I was asked that in Ketchum. It's like, what makes the difference between people coming up to you and asking, where are the tennis courts, compared to, you got a light, you got a cigarette. They don't ask if you got a light. You got a cigarette. The difference between those two questions is a huge economic divide. But how much of a difference does it make? This flag might sum it up. Jerome, Idaho. Idaho milk products. Live, work, play. So, this might be like some kind of milk product capital with Dairy Gold and all these other... the cheese company over there, Davisco, D-A-V-I-S-K, or So I just watched a young Mexican male blow the red light. I was actually watching the Mexican lady on the phone behind him closely. I saw the light was red and I'm like, what's she gonna do? She's got a dent on her car. But I see that the young male before her went right through the red light. This entire shopping district right here is all Spanish. Alright. We got the High Sun Plaza, Rapido, whatever that is. Gemini's Beauty Salon? Gemini's? I don't know. Is that Mexican? Stokes? Maybe not. Tienda something. Costa Colimar. La Ideal. All Mexican. Gemini's probably, they're caught between Mexican businesses. I don't know. So you get some Mexican flavor right here. Heavy influence coming from Mexico. La Campesina Market, Carniceria. Also, let me also say, wow, they really hate their dandelions here. You can tell they're sprayed. There's a lot of that polka style Mexican music. I don't know how you describe it. Mexican polka? China Garden went out of business. You can see there's a for sale sign on them. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? Trailer court over here. Family Dollar seems to be acceptable to the Mexican culture. I tend to notice Family Dollars in these highly Mexican concentrated areas. Okay, it's called Live History Day at Idaho Farm and Ranch Museum, intersection of 93 and 84, 10 a.m. to 4, September 10th, which is tomorrow. Idaho Farm and Ranch Museum. It's entirely in Spanish. That's something else. Immigration. I need to be illegal. Donald Trump is going to kick me out. Yeah, whatever they say here. Downtown. Herrera's, the First Plaza. Huh. One determinant that I've always found interesting to use as a way to differentiate species between humans is whether the person can blush, whether the person has a problem with blushing pink or just not able to blush, because that's a European problem, blushing pink. This black American flag is what I saw at the Boise Sheriff's Office. Okay. Whoa. What is the significance of that flag? It seems like it's anti-American to me. Even the kids look at me in a sinister way around here. You can really sense the distrust. And over there's the museum, which isn't open till Tuesday. Jerome County Historical Museum. But there's really a lot of a feeling of distrust around here. I'm feeling it. It's just some kind of strange tension, which it's probably most likely a racial thing. It's usually what it boils down to. Looks to me like they're doing a bad job managing this system. All right, looks like they need to close this thing off. Looks like it was just opened up too. But it's not just affecting that one. So you got these up here too. Something's going on. Looks like that's intentional. I don't mind getting a ton of water in their grass. Maybe it was turned on. This person wanted to water their lawn. But you gotta water the corner of the street too. A little leaking here. Okay, so at the other end of the block, it looks like it was turned on over here. So this is flipped open. And they left their tool thing. So this whole block was just turned on, I guess. I find it... What is that noise? I find it interesting with these Mexican names. First name's English, last name's Mexican. Or Spanish. It makes me think about like John Cena and like, you know, people are like, oh, he must be Mexican, you know, having never known who he is as a wrestler, and then they find out he's not. There was a person in that backyard. And he's making moaning noises. I was able to peek in between the fence posts, and he looks like he's a special needs. He's a white European guy, just sitting in the grass in a weird posture too. Can't see him. But he heard me approach and he quieted up. Check out this. Oh my God, this goat head. Look at how far it can extend. This building, oh my God. This building has been untouched and it's just extended completely over the sidewalk into the door. Spin design photographics. Wow, this goat head extends. I didn't realize how far it can extend till they let it go. This has to be like the maximum, but that's incredible. So in this town, I can't help but notice that the Mormon churches, they won't call them Mormon churches, they have to be called Jesus Christ Churches, Latter-day Saints. They're picking up in number. Picking up in number. Definitely picking up in number. 2 Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints on the same block, picking up a number. And this is kind of a nice trail. I wonder how far this goes. Nice wide trail. Picking up a number and attendance. Entering Mormon territory, north of Twin Falls. I have a general feeling that religion should be updated. Anyway, you know, Church of Latter-day Saints does that. They take it upon themselves to update the religion to make it more relevant to the area closest to us. Not so much all the way on the other side of the world. Consider the events happening in North America and relate them to religion. I think they do that a little bit. Modernize and reinterpret. Because, I mean, desert climate, well, it's slightly desert around here, but, I mean, imagine trying to apply desert religion to east of, or west of the Cascade Range. Okay, I find this amusing. This guy's got sagebrush in the back of his truck. Imagine that, carrying a full bed of sagebrush in the back of your truck. So here's a Mexican station, Puro something, Purorana. You know, I'm just making note of Mexican increased populations in some cities, but it's not like they're starting armies. They just have thugs, you know. But I mean, for the bigger cities, thugs. But I just don't suspect thugs around here so much. There's just a little racial tension, and racial tension is what the government wants. You know, not to the point where they bring in, where they make, you know, they start making armies for themselves. That's the government's job. This house looks really beat up, and I see there's this weird stop work order. Permits required. Oh, they were working on it without getting a permit. Okay, well, whatever. Alright, there's some kind of a rodeo going on. I'm just gonna take a peek through the broken fence. Okay, well, they don't make that a rodeo easy to access from just anywhere. They blocked off the gates on 2 roads, so there's 2 more intersections, I guess. Also, I'm a little surprised to see there's like 2 National Guard buildings. Maybe one is for the reserves, Army Reserve, and then the other is for the National Guard or something. But well, the other one's right next to the library, so that one's pretty obvious. But around here, it's a little different. These are running too. These are actually yeah, Army National Guard, I don't know. Oh. Right next to these this cowboy fairgrounds, Depew Arena, County Fairgrounds, Jerome County. Yeah, and they got some horse stuff going on in here. I thought I was enjoying it. Oh, I need better.
40.503. James and Marie both have 1 more. And then Tammy for 3. Tammy Lee for 2. Rainey for 2.
Is there an app that can predict the sun angle? I really need to be able to predict the sun angle better because I keep missing the mark. Okay, I've been watching the subway, and it's just it's a couple of young Mexicans that work there, been working there throughout the day, and it's just, I don't know, they probably speak English, but in my experiences, I just that misunderstanding that results from people who speak primarily Spanish and then English as secondary. I don't have a lot of patience for that, especially when it comes to ordering food. I don't want a mistake like that to happen and, you know, get sick from it. Okay, so I'm banging around at this. It's in a little bit closer, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough in. Okay, it's hard to see, but I pulled this thing down. I banged this out. This came out a little bit more. I'm just not sure where that smoky rubber smell is coming from when I hit the bumps. I suspect it's this. It's in a little bit, but is that enough? I can tell. It's in, okay, by this much, where the end of my thumb is. So what is that, about 3 inches? That's the clearance I've lost, because I can't really sledgehammer that in. It's just too tight of a metal piece. As I was banging on my car, I had this trucker come by, start lecturing. I showed him what my problem was, and then he started lecturing me on how my car is too dangerous for the road now because the spring isn't exactly up and down. The air has certainly improved with this rain. This is nice. It barely rained, but it definitely changed the air.